The lonely playground. The playground was full of sound, laughter, and running footsteps. Alien children chased each other around bright, glowing orbs that floated in the air. Some climbed on strange metal vines that twisted like snakes. Some jumped on platforms that bounced high like soft clouds. The whole place was alive. But in the far corner, away from the games, stood a little alien girl. Her skin had a faint silver glow under the twin suns. Her large, dark eyes followed every game. Every laugh, but she did not move closer. Her small hands held each other tight in front of her like she was afraid to let go. She wanted to play, but no one called her name. Every time the other children looked at her, they whispered and turned away. Some laughed, others frowned. They treated her like she was something strange, something unwanted. The girl lowered her head. Her heart was heavy. She wanted to ask, "Can I play too?" But the word stayed trapped in her throat. The playground was alive with joy, but for her it was silent. One alien boy noticed her watching. He smirked and pointed. "Look, there she is again, standing like a shadow." His friends laughed, throwing small pebbles on the ground near her feet. Not to hurt her, but enough to remind her she did not belong. The girl didn't cry. She had learned not to. She only pressed her lips together and stood still like a lonely statue. A breeze passed, carrying the laughter of others to her ears. It cut her heart like a blade. She remembered when she was smaller. She had tried to join once. She had reached out her hand only for the others to pull away and scream, "Don't touch us!" That memory stayed with her. That is why now she only watched. The suns moved slowly in the sky. Shadows grew longer. The games went on. But for her, every second felt like a reminder. She was alone. At the edge of the playground, a figure entered. It was not another alien child, but a human boy. His skin was darker than theirs, his hair cut short. His steps were slow as he looked around, curious about the games. He had arrived in the colony only days ago with his family, and now he wandered. The human boy noticed something. His eyes moved past the crowd of laughing children and found the lonely figure in the corner. The alien girl, small and silent, standing apart. He tilted his head. His brows came together. Why was she not playing? Why was she standing alone? He watched longer, and then he saw how the others looked at her. He heard the whispers. He saw the cruel smiles. He saw how no one invited her. The boy's chest grew tight. He didn't understand why, but something about the scene felt wrong. The alien girl lifted her gaze for a moment. Her eyes met his across the playground. For just one heartbeat, she thought, maybe he would laugh too. Maybe he would join the others. Maybe he would turn away. But the human boy did not. He simply looked at her, his face calm, not cruel, not mocking. The alien girl blinked and quickly looked down again, afraid to hope, afraid to believe. A shadow passed over the playground as a cloud covered the suns. The laughter of the children echoed louder, but for the girl it felt farther away. Inside her chest, a silent question grew. Why is he looking at me like that? Why is his gaze different from theirs? She dared not move. She stayed still, like she always did, afraid of breaking the moment. But deep inside, something tiny stirred. Something she had not felt in a long time. A spark of hope. The human boy took a slow step closer, his eyes still fixed on her, his lips pressed together as if thinking. He didn't yet speak. He didn't yet act. But the decision was already building inside him. The alien girl's breath caught in her throat. Her heart beat faster. Would this human mock her too? Or would he do something no one had ever done before? The playground was alive, yet in that moment, it felt like the whole world had gone quiet. Only two figures mattered. The lonely alien girl and the human boy who had noticed her. And somewhere, deep in her chest, she wondered if maybe, just maybe, her silence was about to end. The human boy's eyes stayed on the alien girl, but before he could move closer, the sound of cruel whispers filled the air. A group of alien children gathered near the play tower, their voices sharp and full of mockery. One boy with sharp teeth pointed toward the girl. She just stands there, like a broken statue, he said, his voice loud enough for her to hear. Another child laughed. Maybe she doesn't know how to play. Maybe her kind only knows how to stare. The words were like poison, carried by the wind. The girl's shoulders tightened, but she didn't lift her head. She was used to this. It happened every day. The laughter, the pointing, the cruel names. But today felt worse, because someone else was watching. The human boy stood frozen, his fists clenched at his sides. He couldn't understand. Why were they laughing at her? She had done nothing wrong. She was just standing quietly. He listened as another child sneered. If she joins, the game will be ruined. No one wants her strange. Eyes near us. The girl closed her eyes, remembering the last time she had tried to ask. She had whispered, "Please, can I play?" But instead of kindness, she had received laughter, pushing, and a stone thrown at her feet. That memory burned inside her now, reminding her why silence was safer. The human boy took a small step forward, but then stopped. He wasn't sure what to do yet. He was new here, he didn't know their rules, but one thing was clear. He didn't like what he was seeing. One of the alien children noticed him staring. The boy smirked. "Hey, human, don't waste your time, don't look at her." His friends laughed again, as if the human had done something silly just by noticing the lonely girl. The human boy's jaw tightened. He didn't reply, but the fire inside him grew hotter. The alien girl's heart sank even deeper, she thought. Now he knows too. Now he will believe them. A small voice inside whispered that hope was dangerous, that hope always broke apart. The cruel whispers didn't stop. In fact, they grew louder, as if the children wanted to prove something. "She's cursed," one said. "Her family is gone, that's why no one wants her. She makes the air heavy," another added. "Stay too close, and bad luck will follow you." The human boy felt something stir inside his chest. Anger. He wanted to shout, to tell them to stop, but his voice felt stuck. He was just one boy, new and alone. Would they listen? The alien girl heard every word, each one cutting deeper. She wanted to cover her ears, but that would only make them laugh more. So she stood still, trying to disappear, wishing the ground would swallow her. Her large, dark eyes glistened, but no tears fell. She had promised herself long ago not to cry where they could see. They would only laugh harder. One child dared to step closer, tossing a pebble so it bounced near her feet. "See? She doesn't move, she's like a doll," he said with a grin. The group burst into cruel laughter. Their voices echoed across the playground, mixing with the sound of real joy from children who weren't part of the bullying. To the alien girl, the difference was painful. Some children played games full of laughter while others laughed only to hurt. And she was trapped in the middle of both worlds, not belonging anywhere. The human boy finally spoke. His voice was quiet but steady. "That's not funny." The laughter stopped for a moment. The children looked at him surprised. No one had ever spoken against them before, especially not a new human. "What did you say?" one alien boy asked, stepping forward with narrowed eyes. The human boy didn't back away. "It's not funny to laugh at her," he repeated. His hands were shaking a little, but his gaze didn't drop. The alien children stared at him, then burst into louder laughter, this time at him. "The human wants to protect her? That's even funnier." The girl's heart pounded. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Someone had spoken for her. Someone had said the words she had always wanted to hear. But the fear inside her was strong too. If the human kept speaking, he would become their next target. She didn't want that. She didn't want anyone else to feel her pain. So she shook her head slightly, trying to tell him with her eyes, "Stop, don't do this." But the human boy didn't stop looking at her. His gaze was calm, steady, like a quiet promise. The alien children circled closer, their laughter now mixed with anger. One shoved his finger at the human's chest. "Stay away from her. She's nothing. And if you stand with her, you'll be nothing too." The human boy's lips pressed into a thin line. He didn't move, didn't step back. His silence was stronger than their noise. The alien girl's breath trembled. She had never seen anyone face them like this before. Her heart whispered that maybe this human was different, maybe he wouldn't turn away, but she was afraid, deeply afraid. What if this ended badly? What if his kindness broke like hers always had? The playground's laughter continued around them, but for these three, the girl, the human, and the group of cruel children, the world had shrunk into a storm of whispers and threats, and in the middle of it all, the girl wondered if this was the moment her life would finally change. The air in the playground felt heavy. Children still played. Laughter echoed in the background, but around the alien girl and the human boy, a small circle of silence grew. It was the kind of silence that comes before a storm. The alien children who mocked her waited for the human to back away. They were sure he would. No one ever stood beside her. Not even once. But the human boy didn't move. His hands were tight at his sides, his jaw set. He was nervous, yes, but something stronger pushed him forward. Something he didn't fully understand yet. The alien girl looked at him with wide eyes. Her heart beat fast. Was he really going to do this? No one had ever dared. She wanted to believe him, but she was afraid to. One alien boy sneered, his sharp teeth glinting. "You don't know the rules here, human. She is nothing. Stay away if you don't want trouble." The human boy's eyes narrowed. He didn't speak right away. His silence was louder than their laughter. He took one slow step forward, toward the alien girl. Gasps spread through the group. The children could not believe what they saw. The girl froze. She felt her breath catch in her throat. She wanted to tell him to stop, but her lips would not open. The human boy now stood beside her, close enough that their shadows touched. For the first time in her life, she wasn't standing. Alone, whispers rose like a wave. Why is he doing that? Is he crazy? He's going to regret it. The alien children shook their heads, confused and angry. The girl lowered her gaze, afraid the others would hurt him now. Her hands trembled. She wanted to step back, to run, but her feet were frozen to the ground. The human boy turned his head slightly toward her. His voice was low but firm. "Don't listen to them." The words were simple, but to her, they felt like lightning in the dark. No one had ever said that to her. No one had ever told her not to listen. The mocking laughter grew louder. One boy pushed closer. "She's cursed, human. Touch her and you'll be cursed too." He spat. On the ground near her feet, the human boy's eyes flashed. He didn't raise his fists, but his words came sharp. "She's not cursed. You're just cowards." A heavy silence fell for a moment. The insult cut deep. The alien children stared at him in shock. No one had ever spoken to them like that before. The alien girl's heart raced. She could hardly believe her ears. "He defended me," she thought. Her eyes burned with tears she didn't want to let fall. The human boy bent down slightly, picking up a small ball one of the children had dropped earlier. He turned it over in his hands, then held it out toward the alien girl. "Want to play?" he asked. The words were simple, but they struck like thunder. The alien children gasped again. Some even stepped back. They couldn't understand what they were seeing. A human asking her to play? It was unthinkable. The girl stared at the ball. Her hand shook. She wanted to reach out, but fear stopped her. What if it was a trick? What if he laughed at her too after she touched it? Her eyes flicked to his face, searching. His eyes were steady, calm, kind. There was no mockery in them. No cruel trick. For a long moment she didn't move. Then with trembling fingers, she slowly reached out and touched the ball. The human boy smiled. Not a big smile, just a small one that was real. "Good," he said. "Now throw it back." The alien girl hesitated. The weight of the ball in her hands felt strange, heavy with meaning. Around them, whispers hissed. "He's actually playing with her. This is wrong. This is dangerous." But the girl closed her eyes for 1 second, took a deep breath, and pushed the ball forward. It rolled clumsily across the ground back to him. The human boy caught it, his grin widened. "See? You can play." Something broke inside her walls. For the first time, her lips curved. A small smile, unsure and shaky, but real. The alien children stared, shocked. They had never seen her smile before. Whispers turned into anger. "Stop this. Humans shouldn't be with her," one shouted. Another shoved the human boy's shoulder. "She doesn't belong here, and neither do you." The human boy stumbled but didn't fall. He straightened quickly, his eyes burning now with a fire they hadn't seen before. "She belongs as much as anyone else," he said firmly. His voice carried strength stronger than before. The alien girl's heart pounded in her chest. Her small smile remained, but her fear grew too. If they turned violent, he would be hurt because of her. The human boy didn't care. He bounced the ball once and tossed it back to her, his eyes never leaving hers. "Don't worry, they can't." "Stop us!" Her fingers closed around the ball again, and this time her smile grew wider, brighter. It felt strange on her face, but also warm. For the first time in her life, she felt seen. She felt chosen. And as the alien children glared at them, the girl realized that this human's step forward had changed everything. The playground had always been her prison, but now, because of him, it had become the place where her story truly began. The ball rested in her hands, light yet heavy with meaning. The alien girl looked down at it, her long fingers curling tight around the smooth surface. Her chest rose and fell fast. Each breath carried both fear and something new, something she had not felt in years. Hope across from her, the human boy waited, his face calm, his eyes steady. He wasn't mocking her, he wasn't laughing. He simply stood there with patience, like the ball was not just a toy but a bridge between them. Around them, whispers filled the playground. Some children gasped, some frowned, others looked away in disbelief. She smiled. One muttered, "I saw it." But many shook their heads, refusing to believe. The alien girl lifted her eyes slowly, her lips curved again, faint but real. It felt strange. Her muscles weren't used to it. She almost didn't recognize her own reflection in that moment of joy. She threw the ball back with trembling hands. It wobbled across the ground, weak and clumsy, but the human boy caught it, like it was the best throw in the galaxy. His grin grew wide. "Perfect," he said. Her heart skipped. "Perfect? No one ever called anything I did perfect." The alien children muttered louder now. "This is wrong. Stop playing with her. You'll regret this." Their voices were sharp, but the girl heard them less clearly than before because, in her ears, another sound had taken root, her own laugh, soft and unsure but alive. The human boy tossed the ball again, higher this time. It bounced and rolled toward her. She bent quickly, caught it, then clutched it to her chest. The smile stayed, brightening with each second. For so long she had been invisible. For so long she had been a shadow. But now someone saw her. Not as a curse, not as a burden, but as a friend. A few younger children paused their own games. They stopped climbing, stopped running, and stared at her. The sight of her smiling confused them. They had never seen her face lit with joy. "Why is she laughing?" One whispered, "She's not supposed to laugh." The alien girl heard those words, but instead of shrinking, she laughed a little more. The sound was shaky, fragile like glass, yet strong enough to cut through years of silence. The bullies grew. Restless, one boy stepped forward, pointing a finger at the human. "You don't belong here, human. You shouldn't protect her. You should stay with your own kind." But the human boy shook his head, his voice carried strength. "She belongs here too. She has the right to smile, just like you, just like anyone." The girl's eyes widened. His words struck deep. No one had ever spoken for her before, no one had ever given her a voice. Her chest felt warm. A tight knot inside her heart started to loosen. She looked at the ball again, then at him. Then, slowly, with a shy boldness, she tossed it higher this time. It bounced, rolled, and he caught it with ease. His grin grew wider. He threw it back again. This time she laughed louder. The sound rippled across the playground like a song breaking chains. The children around them froze. Some still mocked, some whispered cruelly, but others began to feel doubt. For the first time, they wondered if they had been wrong. The human boy stepped closer again. His words gentle now. "See? You're not alone." The alien girl blinked fast. trying to keep her tears from falling. Not the tears of pain, but tears of something she had almost forgotten. Happiness. For a moment, she didn't care who watched, didn't care who whispered. All that mattered was that she was finally playing, finally smiling, finally alive. But the peace didn't last long. From the far side of the playground, two alien parents had been watching, their faces hard, their voices low with disapproval. One of them called out, "Enough! Stop this nonsense at once." The laughter around froze, the whispers stopped. The children looked at the parents, then at the girl and the human boy. The alien girl's smile faltered, fear returning fast. She had seen that look before, the look of adults who didn't want her anywhere near their children. The warmth in her chest started to fade, but then the human boy stepped forward, placing himself slightly in front of her, his stance small but brave. He didn't know what the parents would say next, but he wasn't going to let her face them alone. The alien girl's heart pounded. She clutched the ball tight. The smile trembled on her lips, but it didn't vanish. Not this time, because now she wasn't standing alone. The playground was no longer just a place of pain. It had become the battlefield of her first victory. And though danger was coming, though disapproval was near, she had something new to hold on to, her first smile and the human who gave her a reason to keep it. The playground fell into silence. The alien girl still held the ball against her chest, her smile trembling but alive. Yet the echo of the parents' sharp voice hung heavy in the air. Every child froze. Some shuffled nervously. Some whispered, in low tones, but most simply stared. The human boy kept his place in front of her, his small figure standing like a shield. His fists were tight, his jaw locked. He wasn't going to step aside. The alien parents walked closer, their eyes hard, their voices cold. One of them pointed toward the girl. "She has no right to be here," the parent said firmly. "She is cursed. She brings shame. And you, human, you don't understand what you're doing." The alien girl's heart sank. The warmth of her first smile began to fade. Her hands shook. She had heard these words before many times. They always came from adults, words sharper than the cruelty of children. But before she could lower her head, the human boy spoke, his voice clear. "She has every right to be here." Gasps spread across the children. Never had someone answered back to the parents. Never had anyone dared. The alien parents' eyes narrowed. "You don't know her history. You don't know what she is." The boy didn't step back. His voice grew louder. "I don't need to know her history. I can see who she is now. She's someone who just wants to smile, someone who deserves friends." The alien girl's eyes filled with tears. Her chest hurt. She wanted to stop him. She wanted to tell him that fighting the adults was dangerous, but her lips wouldn't move. The whispers around the playground began again. "The human is crazy. Why is he defending her? He doesn't know the danger." The alien parents turned their gaze on their own children. "Step away from her, all of you," they ordered. "Do not stand near her." The group of children obeyed quickly, pulling back as if the girl carried poison. Even the ones who had started to doubt before now moved away, afraid of their parents' anger. The alien girl's smile finally cracked, slipping from her face. The old loneliness tried to creep back, wrapping around her like chains, but then something unexpected happened. The human boy bent down, picked up the ball again, and gently placed it back in her hands. "Don't stop smiling because of them," he whispered, just loud enough for her to hear. Her lips trembled, her eyes wet, but a small spark of the smile returned, weak yet alive. The alien parents scowled. Their voices rose. "Enough! We will not allow this," one of them stepped forward, grabbing the boy's shoulder. "Stay away from her, human." The boy shook off the grip, his face red with both fear and courage. "No," he said firmly. "I won't." The children gasped again. Some stared in awe, some in fear. A storm was building. The alien girl's heart raced. She didn't know whether to cry or to laugh. No one had ever fought for her like this. But what if the parents grew violent? What if they punished him? The human boy stood taller, as tall as he could, his voice clear now. You think she's nothing, but you're wrong. She's worth more than your cruel words. She's worth more than your fear. The crowd grew restless. The whispers turned into nervous chatter. Some children tugged on their parents' arms. Afraid of what was happening, the alien parents' faces darkened. One of them hissed, "If you stand with her, then you will be outcast too. No one will welcome you here." The boy's reply came fast. "Then I'll stand with her." The words struck like thunder. Silence swept across the playground. Even the wind seemed to stop. The alien girl's tears finally fell, but they weren't only from pain. They were from something stronger, something she couldn't yet name. Maybe pride, maybe gratitude, maybe the strange warmth of being seen. The alien parents turned sharply, their cloaks snapping in the wind. "This is not the end," they warned before marching away, pulling their own children along. The playground emptied quickly. Some children glanced back at the pair with fear in their eyes, some with curiosity, but none dared to stay. At last, only the alien girl and the human boy remained. The playground that had been so full of noise now stood quiet. The girl clutched the ball, her fingers trembling. She opened her mouth, but the words came out broken. Why did you do that?" The boy shrugged, though his chest still rose and fell fast from the confrontation. "Because someone had to," he said simply. "Because you deserve better." The alien girl looked at him, her tears still falling, but slowly, carefully. Her lips curved again. This time the smile was not just shy. It was brighter, stronger, born from something new. "Trust," she whispered softly. "Thank you." The words felt heavy, but also free. The human boy smiled back. "You don't need to thank me," he said. "Just don't stop smiling." The alien girl hugged the ball tight, her chest still full of fear. But now, for the first time, also full of courage. She had lost her smile so many times before. But now she felt something different, because now she wasn't just standing against the world alone, someone had chosen to stand with her, and that meant everything. But far beyond the playground, whispers would spread, parents would talk, elders would decide. Trouble had only just begun. The playground was empty now. The alien children had been dragged away by their parents, their laughter replaced with silence. Their voices still echoed in the distance, but here, only two figures remained. The alien girl holding the ball close to her chest and the human boy standing beside her. The twin suns dipped lower in the sky, painting long shadows across the ground. The air felt heavy, but also strangely calm. The girl stared at the ball, her fingers trembling. Her voice shook as she spoke. "You shouldn't have done that." She glanced at him with wide, fearful eyes. "They will hate you now, too." The human boy tilted his head, then shrugged. "Maybe, but I don't care." His tone was steady, his eyes fixed on hers. "You don't deserve to be alone." Her chest tightened. Her throat burned with words she wanted to say but didn't know how. For so long she had carried silence like a shield. Now, standing beside him, silence felt different. It wasn't heavy anymore, it wasn't punishment. It was simply a moment between two hearts learning to speak. The boy dropped onto the ground, sitting cross-legged in the dust. "Come on," he said casually. "Sit." The girl blinked, confused. "Sit. With you?" "Yeah." He nodded. "If the others don't want us, then we'll make our own game." She hesitated. Her feet felt heavy, as if invisible chains still held her in place. But slowly, step by step, she walked forward and lowered herself to the ground beside him. The boy grinned. "See? Not so hard." He tossed the ball lightly in the air and caught it, then passed it to her. "Your turn." The girl caught it awkwardly, almost dropping it. Her laugh escaped before she could stop it, a small, shaky laugh, but real. The boy smiled, wider. "Told you, you can laugh, you can play." The girl hugged the ball again, her smile growing shy. "Why are you so kind?" She whispered. "No one else is." The boy looked up at the sky for a moment, thinking. "Because I know what it's like to feel different." He turned back to her, his eyes serious now. "Back on Earth, sometimes people laughed at me too, They said I didn't belong, but my dad told me, different doesn't mean wrong. The girl's breath caught. Those words struck deep. Different doesn't mean wrong. She had never heard anyone say that before. The suns dipped lower. The wind brushed across the empty playground, carrying the scent of dust and metal. For a long time, the two of them simply passed the ball back and forth, each throw clumsy at first, then smoother. Each laugh a little louder, each smile a little braver. But beyond the silence, beyond the fence, eyes were watching. From the windows of nearby houses, alien parents peered out, whispering to each other. Look at them. The human boy defies us. He is ruining our rules. One elder shook his head. This cannot continue. If they stand together, others may question us. The girl didn't see those eyes, didn't hear those whispers. For the first time in her life, she felt free. But deep inside, a small voice of fear still whispered to her, this won't last. They will take him away. They will take your smile away again. She looked at him, wanting to say it, wanting to warn him. But then she saw his grin as he caught the ball with both hands, laughing like the whole world was theirs. And for a moment, the fear faded. The boy leaned forward, his voice firm. Listen, no matter what they say, I'm not leaving you. If they don't want us, then fine, we'll stand together. Her lips parted in shock, her heart pounded fast. Together? He nodded. Yeah, together. That means when they laugh at you, they'll laugh at me too, but I don't care. Because it's better than letting you stand alone. The girl's eyes filled with tears. She quickly wiped them away, not wanting him to see. But her voice trembled as she whispered, no one has ever said that to me before. The boy reached out and gently tapped the ball against her knee. Well, then I'll be the first. She laughed softly, her tears mixing with her smile, and for the first time she didn't feel broken. She didn't feel cursed. She felt chosen. The sky deepened into twilight, stars beginning to glow above. The playground that once felt like a prison now felt like a secret world that belonged only to them. But the peace would not last. Far away, in the council hall of the colony, the elders gathered, their voices low but stern. This cannot be allowed. The human must be warned. The girl must remain apart. The seeds of conflict had been planted. Trouble was rising, but in that quiet moment, sitting side by side, passing the ball in the fading light, the alien girl and the human boy didn't know about councils or punishments. They only knew one thing. They were not alone anymore. And together, even against the whole world, they felt strong. The stars lit the sky above the colony. The playground, once full of voices, now stood empty and quiet. Only two figures remained, the alien girl and the human boy. Their laughter had softened, their voices low, but their bond had grown strong, like a flame that refused to die. The girl clutched the ball to her chest, her smile still shy but alive. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel invisible. She didn't feel like a shadow. She felt like someone who mattered. But far across the colony, the elders had gathered. Their voices echoed in the council hall. This must end, one said sharply. If the human continues, others may question our ways. Another nodded. The girl is meant to be alone. She carries shame. She cannot be allowed to stand with him. Plans were whispered. Warnings were prepared. Trouble was already moving toward them. The next morning, the human boy returned to the playground, his step steady, his heart firm. He expected her to be waiting, and she was, sitting quietly in the same corner. But this time, her head was lifted. Her eyes brightened when she saw him. You came back, she whispered. He smiled. Of course I did, I promised, remember? Her heart leapt at his words. She nodded, gripping the ball. I thought maybe they would stop you. They tried, he admitted with a shrug. But I don't care, I'm here. The girl laughed softly, the sound carrying through the quiet air. For her, this was new life, new freedom, but shadows soon appeared. At the edge of the playground, three elders, tall and stern, cloaked in dark fabric, their faces unreadable. Children nearby froze. Parents pulled them back quickly, whispering warnings. No one dared to stay close. The girl's smile faded, fear clawing its way back. She hugged the ball tightly, eyes wide, her whole body trembled. Not again, she thought. Don't take this away from me. The human boy stepped in front of her without hesitation, his small body standing firm, his voice steady. She has the right to be here, the eldest elder's voice boomed. Human, you do not understand our laws. She is not meant to stand among us. The boy shook his head. His voice grew louder. Your laws are wrong. Gasps rose from those who overheard. Never had a child spoken so boldly to the elders. Never had anyone dared. The girl's breath caught. Her fear mixed with something stronger. Pride. She wanted to tell him to stop, to protect himself, but her heart refused. For the first time, someone wasn't just defending her, someone was fighting for her. The elder's eyes narrowed. If you choose her, you will face the same shame she carries. You will be cast out too. The boy didn't move. His voice came sharp. Then I'll stand with her. The words struck like thunder. They echoed through the playground, through the hearts of the children and parents watching from afar. The girl's tears spilled, but they weren't tears of fear anymore. They were tears of strength, she whispered softly, almost to herself. Together. The boy glanced back at her and nodded. Together, he repeated, louder this time. The elders' faces hardened, but behind them, murmurs spread. Some parents whispered in disagreement, some children whispered. In awe, for the first time, doubt crept into the colony's strict silence. The elders turned sharply, retreating with heavy steps, but their warning lingered in the air. This is not over. When they were gone, the boy turned back to her, his grin wide. See? They can't stop us. The girl laughed through her tears, her smile brighter than ever, stronger than the day before. She clutched the ball and whispered, You changed everything. No, he said softly. We changed it. Together. The suns rose higher, painting the colony in golden light. The playground felt different now. It wasn't just a place of pain anymore. It was the place where she found her first smile, her first friend, her first hope. From that day forward, whenever the children gathered to play, the alien girl was not alone. Sometimes the whispers still came. Sometimes the glares of parents still burned. But none of it mattered, because beside her stood the human boy, and together they faced the world. And slowly, quietly, something began to change in the colony. Some children stopped whispering cruel words. Some parents stopped frowning. A few even began to question why they had ever turned her away. It didn't happen all at once, but the first stone had been moved. The wall of fear had its first crack, and all because a human gave her a reason to smile. Her story was no longer about loneliness. It was no longer about silence. It was about courage, kindness, and the power of one step forward. The alien girl looked up at the human boy one last time that day, her voice soft but steady. I'm not afraid anymore. He smiled, tossing the ball into her hands. Good, because we've only just begun. And as their laughter filled the playground again, the stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if even the universe was watching. It was the beginning of something new, something no law, no elder, no cruel word could ever take away. A new beginning,